Welcome back. What's going on, everybody? It's Jasmine from Process Physical Therapy and Performance, and today we're going to be talking about breathing. Breathing is something that's super underrated when we talk about exercise. In life, we know that we need it for respiration, we need it to survive. A lot of us know that it's also a really good stress reliever and it really helps decrease any increased tension in our system. It's also a really good indicator of if our deep core stabilizers are doing what they're supposed to do. And so when we talk about our deep core stabilizers, yeah, we all kind of know about those six-pack muscles, those obliques, right? But what about those tiny muscles that attach to the spine? What about our diaphragm? What about our pelvic floor muscles? So I like for us to think about the core as a soda can. So at the top of that soda can, we have our diaphragm. At the bottom, we have the pelvic floor. And then on the front side, we have abdominal muscles that attach to the spine. And then we have some low back muscles that attach to the spine on the back side as well. And so when we look at diaphragmatic breathing, it really gives us an indicator of how all those muscles are working together. I like to tell people if you're not able to breathe through an exercise, then you don't own it. And so today we're going to dive a little bit deeper into diaphragmatic breathing and really see if it has a change and impact on your symptoms, as well as something that you can get some carryover into some of your different exercises. So here we go. All right, everybody. So we're going to start with our hips and knees at about 90 degrees and our backs flat on the ground. I want you to start off by taking 2 to 3 deep breaths, and I want you to get an idea of where you feel it. When you take that deep breath in, do you feel it in your shoulders? Do you feel it in your chest? Do you feel it in your stomach? Do you feel it in your back? So for me, I kind of feel that more in my stomach, but what we can do to just make sure is you can put one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly and do the same thing. And so for me, this bottom hand is definitely raising more when I breathe in, versus with some people that I see, that chest kind of rises up. And that's just an indicator that those deep core stabilizers could be a little bit more efficient. And so I want us to start off by having just one hand on the belly, and as you take those deep breaths in, try to get that belly to rise. I want you to do that for about 10 breaths. And then we're going to move our hands to our side, so kind of like on our oblique area. And we're going to do the same thing here. And so when we're here, I want you to really get an idea of are you getting equal pressure between the right hand and the left hand, or is the right hand doing a little bit more than the left hand? And then if it seems a little bit imbalanced, as you take those deep breaths into those hands on your side, I want you to try to even that out a little bit. We're going to do that for about 10 breaths. And then we're going to move our hands to our low back. So remember, we're trying to cover the whole canister here. And same thing, we're going to breathe into those low backs. And so for me, I feel my right side doing a little bit more. And so I want to try to equal that out. Good. So we'll do that about 10 times, and then we'll do another 10 breaths as we're trying to work everything together. And so you can kind of put your hands wherever you want to. I kind of like to do a whole wraparound situation where I'm getting a little bit of everything. And we'll do that for about 10 breaths. And now we can progress this to make this a little bit more challenging. So we can bring our legs off of the bench, and we're still in that 90-90 position. And you want to make sure that that low back is nice and flush with the mat. We're not arching, like if somebody came to put their hand underneath you, they couldn't do it. We want to have that back nice and flat with the ground, and we're going to work on that same breathing. So with some people with low back pain, it may be really hard to get that low back flat, and they may get really tired in this position after maybe like 3 breaths. So you can, rest your legs back down and then bring it back up. And this is going to be like a starting position. What we want to do is we want to try to get into other positions that get us closer to standing, just because we don't live down here on the ground. And so next what we want to do is we want to go to hands and knees here. And we're going to do the same thing. So now we don't have the contact of our back on the ground, so it may be a little bit more challenging. And we're going to take those deep breaths in. Trying to expand the whole canister. Remember, belly, back, and then our sides. So I really want you to hang out here for about 10 to 20 breaths. And then we're going to try to challenge it a little bit more by going into the tall kneel position. So now we're in that tall kneel position, and we're going to do the same thing here, except now you can use your hands again to kind of really get an idea of where that breath is coming from. Good, and then we're going to rinse and repeat in other challenging positions. So now we're going to go into half kneeling, same thing. Ten to 20 breaths there, and then we'll switch to the other side. Same thing. And then lastly what we'll do is we'll go into a standing position. So this is going to be more functional for us for our squatting and our day-to-day activities. And this may be harder than you think. And so for me, I can feel like my shoulders are kind of hiking up here a little bit more. I'm going to try to get them to relax a bit. And we're going to play for this for about 10 to 20 breaths. So after this breathing series, things may feel a little bit better for you. You may be able to touch your toes, and you haven't been able to do that in a long time. Your back pain may feel a little bit better. Retest some of those movement patterns that usually hurt. Things might have opened up a lot by just activating that deep core system. Some people with chronic hamstring strains, where they can't touch their toes, they can't do a hinge, that may feel a little bit better just because things have relaxed a little bit and we've activated something deep in our core. And a lot of times things will tighten up on us if our abdominals and if our deep core stabilizers aren't doing what they're supposed to do. So retest some of those movements that may have bothered you before, and let me know what you think. Let me know if you see any changes in those movement patterns. Make sure you drop a comment below and hit the like button. Good luck, y'all. Have fun.